Good morning, ma'am. My name is Paul Genmar O. Cruz, and I'm gonna identify the similarities and differences between two cultures, which is the Japanese and the Korean culture. So, moving on with the topic childbirth practices. Japanese women are advised to have a prenatal visits every 4 weeks through 23 weeks gestation, every 2 weeks from 24 to 35 weeks, and every week after 36 weeks, for a total of 14 prenatal visits for a low to medium risk pregnancy. So they go often to their doctors to get a checkup. While in Korea, women are encouraged to minimize their movements. They also think that the mother's thoughts and mindset affect the child, so they have a taigyo, where they are careful and comfortable about everything, including food and behavior. In the parenting styles, Japanese mothers are also known for proactively predicting the needs of their child, making the prevention of fuss a high priority. Japanese mothers are also with their child almost always for the first 2 years of their lives. In Koreans, for misbehaviors, Korean parents identified spanking as a Korean style of parenting, and giving extra work or chores and reasoning as American style of parenting. Just like any other Asian countries, they spank, they parent their child. Moving on with the wedding rites. Today, the traditional Japanese ceremony is Shinto style, performed by a Shinto priest and held at a shrine. This ceremony itself is very formal and usually very private, with only close family and few guests present. Shiromoko brides who choose a Shinto style wedding wear a white kimono, and this is called a Shiromoko. While in Korean, a guard of wine, the traditional wedding Korean is held at the bride's family home. Vows are taken in a ceremony called kunbere or kunbir. I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah. Bride and groom bow to each other and seal their vow by sipping a special wine poured into guard round by the bride's mother. And moving on to the topic, which is their dining etiquette. In Japan, they they have this seating arrangement, which is very important and symbolic. Never raises their food above their mouth. They never rest their chopsticks on their bowls. They never use their hand to catch the falling food. And they slurp because it's a sign of appreciation. They eat their soup with chopsticks. They return all their dishes to how they were to the start of the meal once they're done. They're conscious of how much soy sauce you they put they put there's they don't stab with they don't stab the food with their chopsticks. Usually the one who does the inviting pays the bill. So there's nothing more in Korea. They're almost the same, but there's a few things to add in Korean culture. They at first they taste their soup or the kimchi juice, and then try rice or other dishes. They do not poke around the rice or side dishes with the spoon. There's a few more, but there's a lot to discuss. So moving on with the next topic, worth et- worth ethic. Korean people are productive and efficient at work, but the problem in the Korean work environment is people sometimes are over competitive and little bit hasty. While Japanese work ethic values order and prudence over efficiency and competition, so it often leads to overwork and unnecessary meeting. Moving on with the family orientation. Family orientation. The Japanese is feel a heightened sense of belonging and loyalty to their family, as interdependence is emphasized in collectivist society. Individuals are expected to serve their family's interests before their own and show preferential treatment to fellow family members. While in Korea, Koreans are very family oriented traditionally. Korean family hierarchies were defined to be by the Confucian organization of relationships, which emphasized patriarchal authority. Under this family model, husband or the father was to exhibit dominance and kindness to his wife in return for obedience and love. And the next topic, which is the burial customs. The majority of funerals in Japan include a wake, the cremation of the deceased, a burial in a family grave, and a periodic memorial service. According to 2007 statistics, 99.81% of the deceased Japanese are cremated, so mostly of the Japanese dead bodies are being cremated in Japan. While in Korea, there is a funeral rituals. Traditionally, the body will stay in the house for 3, 5, or 7 days, depending on the season. One of the relatives would take a coat of the deceased up to the roof and call the dead's name 3 times before the coat was taken back as a cover for the corpse to conduct the ritual kabak. That is the name of the ritual kabak. So, thanks. This is my presentation. Thank you, ma'am.